This is the second part of section 1.4, solving absolute value equations. In the first part, if you remember, we solved equations with just one absolute value bracket. In this video, we're going to look at cases where we have two absolute value brackets. Okay, so the one big, piece of information you could say, if two absolute value expressions are equal, then one of two things must happen. Either the insides must be equal, and really what that means is drop the brackets, okay, and then once we drop the brackets, we'll solve like normal, or the opposites must be equal. And what this one means is drop the brackets again, but we're going to add a negative on the right expression, the right-hand expression, and I'm going to show you what that entails. Okay, so if the insides must be equal, that just means we drop the brackets, or the opposites must be equal, that means we drop the brackets, and then we add a negative on the right-hand side expression. Okay, let's give a couple of shots. So, number one, 3x plus 4 the absolute value of 3x plus 4 is equal to the absolute value of x. Since I underlined the insides must be equal, I'm going to do that, I did that in green. I'm going to do the first part in green. The first part is real simple. We just drop the brackets. 3x plus 4 is equal to x. Okay, this is now a section 1.3 problem. We have variables on both sides of the equation. We need to figure out which side of the equation we want to put it on. Most people are comfortable with putting the variable on the left. So we'll subtract x. That gives us 2x plus 4 is equal to 0. And it's now a two-step equation. We're going to subtract 4. So 2x is equal to negative 4. And then we need to divide both sides by 2. So that would mean x is equal to negative 2. That's one of our answers. Okay, negative 2. That's not the only answer, though. Second part, we need to drop the brackets again. 3x plus 4 is equal to x. Now, what we need to do is we need to put a negative sign out in front of the right-hand side to make it an opposite, okay? But now it's the same problem. We're going to solve it just like normal. Going to put the variable on the left by adding x. 3x plus 1x gives me 4x plus 4 is equal to 0. And then we're going to subtract the 4, minus 4. 4x is equal to negative 4. Divide both sides by 4, and that gives us negative 1. So we still have two answers, negative 2 and negative 1. If we have something a little more complex on the right-hand side, I'll show you how to deal with that right now. So the first part of it, absolute value of 20x is equal to the absolute value of 4x plus 16. First part, just drop the brackets. 20x is equal to 4x plus 16. Again, variables on both sides. Just get it to one side. I'm going to do that by taking the 4x to the left-hand side. 20x minus 4x is 16x is equal to 16. Divide both sides by 16, and that gives you 1. That's one of your solutions. The other solution, we drop the brackets. 20x equals. Now we take the right-hand side expression, 4x plus 16, and we're going to put a negative sign in front of the whole thing. Okay? We could almost think of this as a negative 1 in front of it, and we need to distribute to both parts of that expression. So the left-hand side stays 20x. The right-hand side now becomes negative 4x and negative 16. Once we get to this point, we're solving like normal. Okay? Add 4x, 20x plus 4x is 24x is equal to negative 16. And then we need to do some dividing. X is equal to negative 16 over 24. That can be simplified. Both of those numbers, 16 and 24, are divisible by 8. That would be the largest number that they're both divisible by. So that ends up giving us negative 2 over 3. So these, negative 2/3 and 1, are our two answers for this problem. Let's try one more. This time we have a number out in front of one of the absolute value brackets. But again, the rules don't change. First one, just drop the brackets. 4x minus 10 is equal to 2 times 3x plus 1. All I'm doing is dropping the brackets. Okay, so we'll distribute here. So 4x minus 10 is equal to 6x plus 2. and then get variables on one side and constants on the other. I'm going to take the 4x this way because this is positive. I'll take the 2 over that way. Okay, so I'm going to subtract 4x from both sides. I'm going to save myself a line of writing. I'm going to subtract 2 from both sides because that takes the 2 that way, takes the 4x that way, and we'll have everything on one side. 4x minus 4x, so now I'm looking right here. I'm just going to work my way from left to right. 4x minus 4x cancels. Negative 10 minus 2 is negative 12. 6x minus 4x, 6x minus 4x is 2x, and 2 minus 2 cancel out. So I'm left with negative 12 equals 2x. Divide both sides by 2, and that means my x value is negative 6. For the second part, the rule doesn't change. We just need to drop the brackets and throw a negative out front. We'll see if we can't fit this in on the right-hand side of this screen. So we're going to have 4x minus 10 is equal to, we're going to have 2 times, throw a negative in front of it, 3x plus 1. That's going to be scrunched, but we'll clean it up. We can multiply a 2 and a negative 1. Okay, so that would be 4x minus 10 is equal to negative 2 times 3x plus 1, and we'll distribute from there. Okay, so we still have 4x minus 10. Negative 2 times 3x is negative 6x. Negative 2 times 1 is negative 2. Now this time I'm actually going to take the x's to this side, and I'll take the constants to that side. Okay, so to take the negative 6x that way, I'm going to add 6x, add 6x. To take the negative 10 that direction, I'm going to add 10 and add 10 over here. So now I'm going to work left to right. 4x plus 6x is 10x. Negative 10 plus 10 is gone. Negative 6x plus 6x is gone. Negative 2 plus 10 is equal to 8. Divide both sides by 10. X is equal to 8 tenths. 8 tenths can be simplified. That would be 4 over 5. So 4 over 5 and negative 6 are your answers for this problem. There is one vocabulary term that comes up at the end of section 1.4, and that is extraneous solution. Okay, an extraneous solution, what it is, it's a solution that fits mathematically but doesn't fit logically. I'm going to show you what it means. Show you an example here in just a second. Basically, we're going to do our steps correctly, but what's going to happen is when we go back and check and make sure it works, it's not going to. Okay, we'll do all the steps the right way, but when we go back to check it, something's not going to work out right. Okay, so number 4 here, solve, check for extraneous solutions. This is kind of going back to the first section because we don't have 2 absolute value brackets. So the first one, remember, we just write it as is without the bracket. 2x plus 12 equals 4x. And then the second one, we drop the bracket again. 2x plus 12 is equal to negative 4x. Okay, so I'm going to solve the one here in red. I'm going to take the 2x this way by subtracting 2x. So that leaves me 12 equals 4x minus 2x is 2x. Divide both sides by 2, and that means x is equal to 6. Okay, do the same thing with the one in green here. So 2x, we'll take the 2x this way by subtracting 2x again. So 12 is equal to negative 4x minus 2x is negative 6x, which means my x value is equal to, oops, took it away, x is equal to, that would be negative 2. Now, we need to go back and check. I'm going to check the red one in blue. Okay, so we're going to have the absolute value of 2 times 6, our x value, plus 12. We're going to see if that's equal to 4 times our x value again of 6. 2 times 6 is 12, plus 12 gives me the absolute value of 24. 4 times 6 is 24. The absolute value of 24 is 24, so that one checks out. I'm going to check the green one in yellow. Okay, so my x value was negative 2, so I'm going to have the absolute value of 2 times negative 2. Let's see, plus 12 bracket equals 4 times negative 2. Hopefully you can read that. 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. Plus 12 gives me negative 8. Absolute value of negative 8. 4 times negative 2 on the right-hand side of that equation is negative 8. But here is an example of where something doesn't work. The absolute value of negative 8 is 8. That's not negative 8. Okay, so this one does not work. Which means this right here, your answer of negative 2 is not an actual solution. Okay, you only have one answer in this problem. The answer is 6. Okay, Just this is what I mean by it fits mathematically. We found this correctly. We didn't do anything wrong, but when we went back to check it, something didn't quite work. Okay, so -2 would be an example of an extraneous solution, which means 6 is your only solution for problem number 4. Let's try another one, number 5 here. So this one's got 2 brackets, so we'll have to follow the 2 bracket rules. First rule, we drop the brackets, x plus 11. The second rule, actually we'll solve the red one here first. We'll take the x that way. So we're going to subtract x. We'll take the 5 that way, minus 5. X minus x is 0. And oh boy, let's try erasing. Let's maybe see if we can't do this the normal way. I tried to save room and I think it cost me. So I'm going to move the 5 this way. We're going to take it that way. I'm going to take the x that way by subtracting x. Subtract x, subtract 5. X minus x is gone. 5 minus 5 is gone. So on the left-hand side, I've got 0. X minus x is gone again. Whoops. And 11 minus 5 is 6. I've run into a slight problem. 0 is not equal to 6, and I don't have any variables left. So what I'm going to write here is I'm just going to write not true, because I know that, well, obviously 0 is not equal to 6. Okay? Let's leave it there for now. Let's go do the second rule. Okay, so we drop the bracket for the first one, x plus 5 is equal to, we throw a negative sign in front of the second one, x plus 11. Okay, we'll distribute. So x plus 5 is equal to negative x minus 11. And we'll solve from here. So I'm going to take the x that way, take the 5 that way. Plus x, minus 5, minus 5. X plus x is 2x. 5 minus 5 is gone. Negative x plus x is gone. Negative 11 minus 5, that's negative 16. Okay? This is in good shape. We haven't run out of variables yet. So we'll divide both sides by 2. When you divide negative 16 by 2, you get negative 8. So now we have something to actually go back and check. Okay? So plug in negative 8, this one, back in for each x in your original problem. Okay, so we got the absolute value of negative 8 plus 5 is equal to the absolute value of negative 8 plus 11. Absolute, let's see, negative 8 plus 5 is negative 3, so I got the absolute value of negative 3. I'm going to slide this up just a little bit more. And negative 8 plus 11 is positive 3, so the absolute value of positive 3. The absolute value of negative 3 is 3. The absolute value of positive 3 is also 3. This one works out. This is our only solution, because this one over here, it didn't give us a true statement. We never got an x value, so there was only one to go back and check. Hopefully 2 bracket absolute value equations aren't that difficult or aren't that daunting. Like always, if you have questions, don't be afraid to ask. That's why we're doing these videos. That's why we're having all the class time that we do to work.